Hey everyone, it's Allison from Fathom 5 Tarot, and I'm here to do your week ahead reading. I dashed back up to the lake, you can see it back there, for the weekend. Just nobody was here, and I just wanted to be in more beautiful outdoors. The lighting is actually not great, but whatever, you don't need to see me, you just need to see the cards. So I'm just sitting in a place where I can balance my laptop, and I thought I'd do a little reading out here. I may not be able to post this until Monday, the 31st of May, because my internet up here is not great. Oh, there's a mosquito. Did you see that fly past the camera? Yeah, my internet's not great. Last week I did post it from here, but it took 21 hours. And by that time I'll be back at home anyway. So the deck I'm using today is the Centennial Rider-Waite. I thought I'm out in nature. Might as well go old school with this thing and dusted off a classic. This is the deck I always have with me, always. Carry it in my purse. I love this deck. So let's just see what the week might hold. Ooh. Turns out the deck is kind of a dangerous place. There's cracks in it. One could go right through the boards. All right. Okay, well, there's some heavy, this is a heavy one reading this week. So the three cards I pulled were the Death card, Eight of Pentacles, and Ace of Wands. So this is going to be a week, guys. Gosh, so it's funny because the last few weeks in my readings I've been talking about, like, you got to get to it, you got to move on to something. You've been sort of maybe stagnating a little bit, and it's time to just go forward and grab the thing that you need to do. And in the last week reading, I'm pretty sure, I don't have it right in front of me, I mean, I would if I looked it up on the computer, but had to do with sort of more of a hanged man energy, a stagnant energy. But this reading tells me that that process actually, if that reading resonated for you last week, maybe it's not quite over. It may not be enough to just sort of leave something like involved in your life and then continue to move through it, right? The Death card signifies the end of something, not necessarily a literal death, but something that needs a sense of finality. It needs to be over, and you need to fully break from it in order to move on. That's sort of the idea of it. And again, this is all part of a natural cycle. Having to move on from something can be extremely healthy, but that doesn't make it any easier in the moment, that's for sure. But it is the first card that came up, and it came up in the upright position. So it's something to really think about. Do you need to cut something out of your life, out of your process, right? Even if you're working through a creative process, which we talked a lot in the last few weeks, Stephen King and maybe others, but when he has his creative process and he needs to take out something he loves, he wrote about that in his book on writing. He calls it killing your babies. Right? There may be something in your process that you really love, but it's not actually moving the entire project forward. So make the difficult decision and do it now. If you don't have control over this, then just know that it's coming, and give yourself time and space, because regardless of whether or not you make the decision to end something, there's often a grieving process, regardless of what your involvement is in it. Next up, Eight of Pentacles, which is really interesting because this is work and practice and honing a craft. I actually love the Eight of Pentacles card. And if you're doing something you love, then this process, while often sort of a bit of a grind and frustrating, in the big scheme of things, it's extremely rewarding to see progress, to work through things. Coming up next to this card, so as I'm looking at it, it's like Death and then Eight of Pentacles. I feel like that after this, there's going to be a bit of an adjustment and a grind in your process, right? That this may not be the most fulfilling week for this process, right? What you're doing is coping with this. So when you've got that loss, then you just have to get back to the roots of what you know and what you want to be doing and do that thing. And it's not going to be fun, and it's not going to be like joyous and momentous like creating sometimes is. It's just going to be like retracing the steps that you already know, making it happen, knowing that working through the process is part of sort of moving beyond this. But once you do, look at that. Look at that, right? That's that's the hard work, is doing this. And this is sometimes the hardest thing to get yourself to do. It's the nuts and bolts. It's not so fun, but it does lead to new passion, new inspiration, new regeneration of growth. And that's what we want, right? That's what we all want, is to do that. And you can't really get here to this moment without having some of this experience. It's just part of the deal. So while it doesn't feel great necessarily to go through it in the moment, it's important. It's a good thing. So as you work through it this week, this is what I want you to stay focused on. This is what I'm going to focus on, because I take these week ahead readings into account in my own life, right? Just going to be grinding away. I can see exactly actually how this applies in my own life, because this is what I want. It's what we all want. A little Ace of Wands energy in our life. So I hope you found that helpful. I hope the lighting worked out okay. We'll see you when I get it back home. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.